Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Let's fix this little collar. Let's get our collar all dazzled, frazzled. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on this amazing, incredible floating planet. Hello. I always want to have the song, Looks Like We Made It. Doo doo doo. Because every day it's like, look at, we made another day. Wow, we made it another day around the roller coaster circuit. Happy New Year. It's so good to be here with you guys. We have a lot happening and we have a very exciting announcement to make. I'm super excited to make this announcement. And you know what? I wasn't even thinking about it, but now it makes a lot of sense. I feel like we're going to have to start getting real. Some of you may already be very used to change, but I feel like in the next 10 years, and I know that sounds kind of ridiculous, like Lorie, who cares what's going to happen in the next 10 years? I can barely get through my day, right? But I say that because evolution is a long process. I think it's cute how humans right now, that you and I, we kind of are like, oh my God, are we gonna see when everything is like all, the Garden of Eden back on the planet is like, mm. The reality of how long the journey of evolution is kind of bewilders us and is mind blowing. It's hard for us to conceptualize the fact that this is for this evolution in human consciousness is has been going on for thousands of years and will continue for thousands of years. And so to kind of squeeze this most magnificent shift to an 80-year span is not unfortunately not how it works. Um, and I think the more that we are humble to that awareness, the more we could enjoy it, perhaps, right? We're not having this expectation that I hope I see it in my lifetime. Um, it's a realization of like, yeah, we're going to see change in our lifetime, and we're going to start shifting and changing a little bit more. But um, pretty confident that what I'm doing here on this planet will make a significant imprint for the coming generations, but I'm not going to see the planet at its final destination unless I reincarnate again. Um, it's just a very slow, tedious process. Anyway, I don't know where I went on that little tangent. All of that to say that we are going to be experiencing a lot of change. And because of that, let's just get right into it. Hold on. Oh, so much better. I am changing Untangled. Untangled is a series I've been doing here on YouTube for 2.5 years. Let's see, I started it in 2022. And it's it's a show that I've been doing every week, almost every week, about the evolution in human consciousness. And it's felt stale to me. It's felt old. It's felt like it doesn't have any life. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but it's just not felt alive to me. It's not felt fresh. It feels like I'm continuing to put myself in these really old shoes in some way. And so, because of that, I am going to be doing something a little bit different, but very similar. I'm going to be doing a show here on YouTube. It will also be a podcast, so it will be on Spotify, but it'll look just like this, except I'll be over in my corner over there. And it's going to be called The Lorie Ladd Show. Simple Lorie Ladd Show. We've got this cute new little photo thumbnail thing. And it's going to be multiple times a week. It's going to be a show that I'll be jumping on quite frequently. And I see it as like a news show, right? Where I jump on and I'm like the newscaster. But instead of talking about, like, the basic news, I'm gonna be talking about, like, what we're doing and what we're going through, but just like, just kind of shooting the you know what, right? My intention around creating this new show is just that it becomes like a familiar place we can come to and connect, feel community, and just talk about what's going on, but more frequently without this like untangled feels like a structure to me in some way. Like I've got to have a title, I've got to know what I'm talking about, I've got to have like I don't like structure and it just feels that way to me. Um and so we're gonna throw that out the window. We're gonna throw structure out the window. We're gonna throw the title out the window, and we're just gonna create the Lori Ladd Show. And I don't know how many days a week I'll be doing it. I don't know what days and times I'll be doing it. So definitely, if you are here and you love Untangled, make sure you are subscribed to the channel and that you hit the notification button. That way, the bell, that way you'll be notified when I go live. I will do my best to give sort of a schedule. Um, right now, to next week will be Wednesday at 2 p.m. California time. And I'll have these up in advance so that you guys will know. But there won't be a title. It's not going to be like, here's what we're talking about, because I'm not going to have any idea what I'm going to be talking about until we connect. Um, but I'm really excited about it. It feels fresh. It feels new. It feels, I want to have more of a dialogue with you guys. I want it to be, yeah, I just want it to be a back and forth dialogue and show about our current experience here and what we're going through. And I think the reason is I just have this feeling intuitively that this year is the beginning of I just feel like it's gonna get intense this year. Um, and we're gonna have to dig deep into really more godlike ways of being to be able to navigate it, right? We're not gonna want to mirror what the external world is doing. We're not gonna wanna reflect back and be the way the world is going to, break apart. A lot's gonna crumble this year, I feel like. Our We're gonna be tested, I feel. We're gonna watch people that we really thought were honest, good people. We're gonna watch those systems crumble. Um, it's almost like we're gonna start seeing the cracks in the mirrors, right? We're gonna start seeing the cracks in all the perfection and all the put togetherness and all the pretty presentation on the stage. And we have to be prepared for that because and I think that's why I'm on the path that I'm on right now with you guys where we're talking more about God and bringing God in and activating God more and following that organic path and that organic timeline because when we can integrate and embody that authentic, right? That really grounded human authentic um energy and light, not this really like um not of this planet type of energy, like not reality. That's another thing that I think we're gonna start to like that's gonna break apart a lot is like this like there's a lot that happens in this quantum field. Obviously, we're just one little speck of like a massive, consciousness experience. It's almost incomprehensible for us to try to grapple with what's actually conscious outside of God's light, which is also God's light. And so we're on the planet to be human on the planet. We're not on the planet to expand out of it and be with all the other stuff that's off the planet. Like, we came here to be human. We came here to assist in evolving the planet and evolving humanity's consciousness. So we came here to be this grounded, heavy this, and we came here to evolve within this vessel. We came here to feel all the emotions. We came here to go through all the heartache. We came here to have all the relationships. Uh, we came here to be human. And so I'm saying all this because one facet that we may have found ourselves in, I mean, I know I did, is that is like sort of this experience of like, it's just like believing in things or living in ways that just don't feel very real. Like, what does all of that matter? I'm just trying to survive. I'm trying to deal with what's going to come next with the governmental systems on this planet and the wars and all of that evil that's happening. I'm trying to just like grapple with that. I'm trying to grapple with the fact that like there are more people that can barely pay their rent, and yet there's all these billionaires that we're seeing popping up. Like, I'm trying to grapple with what I'm seeing on the planet with my heart and my soul. Um, and that's going to become a bigger reality for us. That's what's important, in my opinion, in terms of our evolution, being able to integrate what we know to be our truth, our light, right? Activating more of our God light, becoming more God-like, becoming more Christed-like, right? But in a very human way, in a way that is relatable and like normal and authentic and real. Uh, and in that journey and in that process that we're going to start, I think that humanity is going to start leaning back into, um, there is going to be this real big shift in authenticity and constant change. Constant change. So when we begin to break away from the world out there, right, we're starting to say to ourselves, like, more and more, right? It just peels back more and more, more and more. We start looking around and saying, God, things just aren't, it's just not clicking for me anymore. Then where do you go? You have to go in here, right? When you start realizing that the outside world just is not, it's just, as much as you are really trying to grab it and make sense of it and you want to be a part of it, something's starting to happen with a lot of us where it's like, I can't be in this anymore. I can't buy into this anymore. I can't buy into that anymore. All the like everything that you've been buying into, that we all have, that we've loved and enjoyed, and like, it's just not. Wow. Thank you for that super chat. Hi, that is so sweet, Patrick. That is so sweet. Thank you, thank you, thank you for that very generous super chat. Um, what we have been really participating in, we're not going to be able to. And then what happens is we're like, wait, so then what am I left with? Right? Like, it starts to get lonely because you're like, well, that I don't like watching that anymore. I don't like playing in that anymore. That's not resonating with me. That's not resonating with me. Maybe you find somebody that you're like, oh, on YouTube or something, where you're like, yes, I resonate with, or you find a community and you're like, this I resonate with, and that will change. And then so the point is that, so then all of a sudden you're left here, right, in your own beingness, kind of like alone, lonely, like, now what? Now what do I do? You're trying really hard perhaps to go back out because you want to be a part of the world, you want to fit in, you don't want to be alone, but every time you try to go back out, you're like, this is not, no, I can't do this anymore. I'd rather be in this world. And so when we start doing this more and more and come into this world, what this world is going to show you is change. You're going to start realizing, like, oh, there is a constant change within me. Every day there is something new that's arising. Every day there is a different thought that I want to follow. Every day there's a different desire that I might want to walk down, a different path. You're going to start realizing, when we come back in here, this world right here, and kind of quiet or silence everything we've been listening to and watching, the greatest gift you can give yourself is to kind of allow this shift, trust this shift that's going to be happening to humanity, which is like, you're not resonating with almost everything and so it requires you to be comfortable being lonely and being alone and feeling kind of isolated, even though you have friends and family and you get to do all these really cool things. The systems out there you just can't participate in anymore, right? And so you're coming in, and this inside is you, it's your soul, it's your spirit, it's your light, it's this God essence, and it requires constant change. So one day you're going to feel wanting to do one thing, and the next day you're going to want to do another thing, and then the next day you're going to have like it's going to be like, wait, what do I want to do? What do I believe? What is happening? Because what you're doing is you're cutting off all the circuitry of voices that have told you what to do, what's going on in the world, what to think, right? Like how to do it, how to not do it. We are dependent. We've been programmed to be dependent on the external world, right? So we feel as if we need the external world to guide us. And we'll need those handholds for some time, but eventually we'll find ourselves just right? And then you're in your own field, you're in your own space, you're in your own sovereignty. What I'm speaking to here really quickly, also you guys, it's not that you don't have friends and family and loved ones and all of that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that I want you to imagine that there's these energetic tentacles going out from your body and they're attaching to like certain people, certain programs, certain communities, certain whatever, right? And you've been kind of feeding off it. You've been receiving stuff from all these different places. And what you're going to notice in the next 5, 10 years, it'll start this year, is that those chords, you're not what you're being fed isn't going to resonate anymore. So you're going to start cutting off these cords connecting to these different systems and people and communities, things like that, right? And as you cut these cords, you're going to be like, well, what do I have left? And what it's doing is it's the natural shift in evolution. What it's doing is it's inviting you to come back to your natural state. And we're uncomfortable with this because we like to be told, well, what is my natural state? How do I do this? What am I supposed to do? Do I do it like this? Do I do it like that? Do I sit for 10 minutes? Do I sit for 30 minutes? Am I supposed to close my eyes? Am I supposed to open my eyes? Right? We are programmed to be told what to do, literally. And when we do what we intuitively are feeling, then we want to look around and be like, is this right? Is this how I'm supposed to do it? Is this how you're doing it? Right? And it's not your fault. It's not our fault. It's how we're designed. It's how we're programmed. And so what we are being called back into is sovereignty, authenticity, your truth. And it's going to happen whether we want it to happen or not, because these little cords are going to start cutting. You got to listen to the truth of what's happening in you, which is that these things aren't going to resonate. You're going to question these people that you've loved forever. You're going to question everything. You're going to question me. You're going to question other people. You're going to question, as you should, right? And you're going to say, really? Do I really? Is this really? And what's gonna happen for humanity is the eyes that we've had on all the external stuff is gonna start coming inward more and more. The noise is gonna quiet. It's gonna have to quiet, right? And when we do this, you'll notice change happening a lot. When we quiet ourselves enough to listen to our own internal compass, there will be you will start feeling so free. You'll start feeling at home. You'll start feeling like you can breathe again. Believe it or not, listening and turning on to all these different things can actually create a ton more anxiety and stress and worry and fear than if you just sat with your own self in stillness. Now, we think, well, if I sit with myself in stillness, it's going to be crazy. I can only do it for like 10 minutes because then my mind goes crazy and I don't know what I'm doing and what I'm supposed to be doing. And then I start thinking about all these things that I don't want to think about. But it's your safest place to be. It's where you find God. It's where you find your soul. It's where you meet your true authentic self, right? We've got to go through the desert in order to to find um, our truth, our freedom. The desert being like, the we got to go through the uncomfortable. And unfortunately, for some strange reason, sitting in stillness equates to the uncomfortable for humanity right now. But it's what we need to be doing more and more. And we need to be trusting that it's more important to sit in stillness and be in the uncomfortable than follow what no longer resonates because you don't want to be outside of the group. Your greatest gift that you're going to give yourself this year and next year and the following year is finding yourself, truly finding yourself. When you give yourself more and more time to be in stillness, when you pop out of stillness and you go back to what you're used to doing, you will feel the dissonance. You'll The more that you can train yourself to sit in stillness and quiet with just you, your soul, God, and let that uncomfortable, you're going to advance in your evolutionary shift faster than if you were to go and listen to all these people or take all these things that are going to tell you how to do it. Right. And then what happens is that the more that you are sitting in stillness and quiet, like literally locking yourself away if you can, even if it's just for an hour, the more you can do this, the more when you pop out, you will start recognizing even more. You become more sensitive to what doesn't resonate. You desensitize yourself to how the world kind of wants you to play. All right. And then you start, no, this is why fasting, I think, is the most important thing that we could possibly be doing. Hands down, number one thing we could be doing is fasting from anything, just fast. Because when you fast from something, you recognize the power that it has on you. And when you recognize the power that it has on you, you can begin to separate yourself from that which has been pulling you from you. So everything that we start deciding to fast on is what's pulling us from our fastest shifts in the evolutionary process. The more that we can fast from the world, from the distractions, the more we can sit in our own inner caves in stillness without a direction, without a handbook, without rules, the more you're going to find who you are. The more you're going to, the faster you're going to see what's holding you back. The more guidance you're going to receive from yourself, from soul, from God. The reason the world is doing everything it can to keep you distracted is because it wants to make sure that's not the path you follow. The greatest part about evolution, though, is that it all comes out in the wash. Everything crumbles because the light continues to increase on this planet. And if the light continues to increase in frequency on the planet and in your body, there is nowhere to go. We are going to see it all. And so no matter what, there's no doubt in my mind that the people that are continuing to lie to you and manipulate you and cheat you and do all the things that they're doing right now on the planet, they'll be seen. When, I don't know, but they'll be seen. It's just what's going to happen. And so to be able to be aware that this is unraveling and we're here to prepare ourselves to be able to be in this, not so that we can fight back with anger or rage, even though that may come up, right? This righteous anger is allowed to be here. And you will feel righteous anger in the coming years and in the coming months. You will be flabbergasted by what's going to unravel in front of you. Those that you've trusted, you are going to be shocked. But it's necessary and it's going to pull you back into you, right? The more you realize, Holy cow. Whoa, there's a lot of inauthenticity happening here. The more you're going to say, maybe I should be only listening to what is in here, and beginning to create this new way of being on the planet where we enjoy the offerings of others and we enjoy the gifts of others, but we do so in our own sovereign, grounded state. So, what that means is that when you and I are doing this a lot, right? Which is what we're doing a lot of, which is like, what's this person saying? What do I need over here? What do I need over here? What about down here? Do I need that over there? What about over here? Right? Our focus is all over here. And so there's a wobbliness. We're not we're not stable in our own knowingness. We're not stable in who we are. We're not stable in our truth. We're not stable um in our intuition. We're questioning things. We're questioning what we want. We're questioning our thoughts. We're being infiltrated like no one's business. The demonic energies on the planet have increased like I've never seen, and so it's very destabilizing. So what happens is, as you kind of trust that things aren't resonating anymore, you cut those cords. You start to pull yourself back into a grounded, stable state. And the more you do this, the more calm you're going to feel. The more you do this, the more you're going to feel. The more you do this, the more you're going to say, wow, it's not so bad that I'm not participating in all these things happening out there. It's okay. The more you do this, you find God. The more you do this, you find your soul. The more you do this, your mind quiets. The more you do this, your nervous system quiets because you're coming back into a homeostasis. And when you do this and then you look out at the world, it's a very different experience because there's nothing pulling you, trying to tell you what to think or feel or do, right? You're just like, "Oh, I'm finally home. Hold on a second. Wow." You can feel yourself inside your body. You can feel yourself breathing. You can feel your mind quieting. You can feel God moving through you. And when you look out at the world and you start to listen again and you start to read and you start to do all these things, you immediately feel whether it is for your highest good or not. You will immediately feel if this voice creates your body's heart rate, your heart to increase, and you will immediately turn it off. If you do something else, you turn something else on and there's this angst in their energy or there's something, it's a little bit strange, right? You will immediately say nope. And so you find something that you really love, and when you're watching it, it feeds you. You can feel that your authentic body's like yes, your soul's like yes, right? You start to become more discerning from this grounded state, from this more aligned homeostasis, right? That's kind of the word that's been coming through for me the last week or two, is this homeostasis. And so remembering that the 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 movement frequency wise that's happening, there's two ways, there's two kind of paths to see right now, right? It's the what I've been talking about, the organic and the inorganic. And why this is so important is because as the frequency increases, those two pathways are going to start to look very different. So the organic pathway is going to be, as the frequency increases, as we keep moving through this, things are going to speed up. Everything's going to start moving faster and faster and faster. And that organic pathway is the need to slow down, the need to slow down. The reason we have so many issues with our nervous system and all these ways in which we're looking at the nervous system and calming the nerve, like, I mean, we've complicated the nervous system to a degree that's just okay. If you just sit in stillness, your nervous system will settle down. Anxiety, you sit in stillness, you start practicing stillness, your anxiety will eventually reduce. All the different emotions that you're trying to control or get out of or fix, if you sit in stillness, they'll eventually just be. So that's the organic pathway that you're going to be called to more and more. That's a little bit uncomfortable, but I promise you, you do this and you're going to catapult yourself through the next year. The inorganic pathway is as things speed up, right? And as we get more and more, there's more information, there's more distraction, there's more this, there's more that, you're going to be pulled. Your nervous system is going to be whacked out. Your anxiety is going to go off the charts. You're not going to know who you are. You're going to be super insecure, doubting everything, so confused. You're going to feel like you lost yourself. You don't even know who you are anymore. You're going to be so afraid to be alone. You're not even going to want to sit in stillness anymore. You're going to be feeding into and like buying whatever you need to buy in order to make yourself feel calm, in order to make your nervous system quiet, in order to make the anxiety go away, right? So watch this. You're going to see it this year. I promise you. These two, it's going to be as everything speeds up, you're going to either see humanity be pummeled down this path of like just searching for anything, grabbing for anything, just constantly like there's not one moment of just like, right? Or the person that's like, I need to go sit in a cave. I don't care how crazy and insane it's going to be. I need to go sit in a cave. I just can't anymore. We'll get to this place where we're like, I can't anymore. I can't. For your well being, for your family's well being, for your children's well being. And it's a lifestyle and a life change that you'll start to integrate into your life, and it will be necessary. It will be 1 billion% necessary to be in stillness. It's where you get your answers. It's everything. And it's insane because it's like our breath, you know? It's like breath is always there, but we forget to kind of breathe. It's gonna get insane. Yes. And the other thing is like, let's not be afraid to talk about it. Like us talking about how bad it's gonna get does not make it worse. I can't stand that belief system because it's like if you are connecting deeper and deeper to who you are, if you're plugging back into God, creator, the source of everything, then you can stand in the most chaotic of things and look out and say, wow, it's gnarly out there. Holy cow, look how crazy it is. Look how dark it is. Look what they're doing to humanity. The greatest sages, the greatest teachers, the greatest masters stood in the darkest places on the planet. They went into the darkest places, right? So it's like, yeah, we got to look at the darkest places. That's why we're here. That's why we're doing this work. That's why we are being called to connect deeper and deeper into the light of God and bringing that light of God into our bodies more and more so that we can breathe that frequency through us. Because that's the only way that we will be able to walk through this next 5 to 10 years with ease and grace and peace and calm. That's what Jesus wants to come in and teach everyone, show everyone, assist everyone in doing, is to be able to walk through what's coming with godliness, with an open heart, with compassion, with forgiveness, with faith. When you have these traits that accompany you when you are integrated with God's light, then you're not afraid anymore. You're free and safe. And the amount of faith that you hold catapults you out into the world to speak, to act, to serve, right? All of these innate traits within us come alive. They come alive within us when we start getting quiet, when we start to focus on what do we really want? Why are we here on this planet? Like, why are we here? What did we come here for? Starting to really wake ourselves up, like shake our shoulders. Because here's the thing, as as evolved as we kind of think we are, um, as evolved as we think we are, we're also becoming more and more dazed and confused. You know that movie Dazed and Confused? Because they're finding ways to kind of um it's like the second humanity starts to I'm trying to figure out the best way to say this. So, okay, the humans that have been controlling this entire planet, okay, for generations after generations, for thousands of years, 7,000 years, give or take. They know, okay, they know what the organic timeline is. They know the highest timeline for humanity. They know that if humanity were to come back in to their vessel, to their field, their energetic field, and reconnect directly up into source consciousness, the omnipresent light of everything. They know that if humanity were to do this, that the game would be over because you can't control or manipulate or lie to the light of God. It doesn't work. When you have the light of God streaming through you like living waters, alive and breathing through you start to see a lot more than what you're seeing right now. You have a lens that you didn't have before. It can create more anger and frustration and rage, but it's a lens that even the most awakened human doesn't have unless they're breathing that living water through them. It's like a different lens comes over and you start seeing in very different ways. There's no story to it. There's no complication to it. It is simply just you aligning with the creator, the light, whatever you want to call it, the mother, the father, the Tao, it doesn't matter. Allah, it doesn't matter what you're calling it, okay? It's the heart. It's the light of where everything starts and where everything ends. And when you start breathing that back into the body, they know out there we're in trouble. Now, anything other than that, they don't care about. So you could go and like do all kinds of like stuff where you're on spaceships and talking to galactic beings and like, maybe you're going to all these like workshops and like or you're diving deep into like who knows what, right? Like all the different types of things that we're doing. Those are all great. They bring you information and knowledge and the powers that be don't care if you're doing that. Keep going. They don't care because it's not the organic timeline. Organic means simple. An organic piece of fruit is just a piece of fruit that has organically grown on a tree naturally. It's just naturally been on that tree and it just pops off and it's ready to eat. There's no stories. It's not trying to do anything. It's not trying to fix anything. It's just boop. Same too with your organic path. It is literally this simple at this point on the planet. It can be this simple. And when this comes in, everything starts changing. So, if this is what you are beginning to practice, because this is the organic timeline, because this is what they don't want us to do, you will find yourself, um, being tor like, almost pulled, almost tortured, like, your mind is gonna be infiltrated, your emotions, you're gonna question everything in a way, because there's an infiltration that happens when the light of God starts to kind of shine through the body. It's almost like they can see it and they're like, "Oh my god, we gotta stop this. We gotta stop this. We gotta stop this." I know this sounds so crazy, like a science fiction movie, but it's all the spiritual battle is all very energetic, right? So as you start doing this, you might start feeling kind of like weird infiltration, like intense thoughts of like pulling you away from it or whatever it is, right? But if you go back out, it kind of dissolves, goes away, right? If you kind of test the waters and go back and play a little bit in some of these things, like different groups or different whatever, then that infiltration, that attacking kind of goes away. It feels good, right? So then you kind of lean back into it. And it's like, no, get back into that organic timeline. Go back to the light of God, breathe it through. And it's like, but it's hard. And I don't trust myself. And I feel all these weird infiltration things. And I feel like people are coming like, it's like, yeah, because this is not the path that they want us to go. Keep going. Right. And there's not enough of us doing it yet to be able to really grab arms and say, okay, we've got this. Right? There's all these other tactics and techniques and ways in which we're evolving, but when it's just you and the light of God coming in, it can become very challenging. But this is, in my opinion, the pathway for humanity's evolution. And what you're going to notice, even if you just are in stillness, I want to say something to you guys because I think this is really, really important. Um, and This is something that has been coming to me this past week. Um, it came to me from Jesus, and it was I've I've been in a lot of stillness. I've been in a cocoon. I've been in my office, just really um, being initiated and sitting with God for hours, sitting with Jesus for hours, writing, going in. Just it's been an amazing, incredible experience. And when I go out, it becomes very the dissonance or the duality that I experience on the planet is increasing. So what that means is like, a year ago I would go out and about and I would go to my, yoga studio, or I'd go out to lunch, or I'd go into the grocery. I would do these things and I wouldn't feel much impact when I got home. I would feel the energies of where I was. Okay, that's different. So being an empath is not what I'm speaking of. Feeling the energies of things is one thing, but beginning to recognize the demonic energies that are moving into your field is a whole other layer of energetic awareness. And it's a layer that is beyond or below the empathic feelings of energy. I'm super sensitive. Yes, that's one layer. But then to be able to understand the demonic energies that are moving around within people is a whole other layer. And that is the layer of awareness that we need to start being aware of. And what's important about that layer of awareness is not that it should scare you. It should actually inspire you to energetically protect yourself and bring awareness to what you're in and give humanity compassion. It's heartbreaking to recognize how infiltrated people are now. It's not their I mean, They chose a path, they're choosing life, but they didn't choose to have demonic energies infiltrate them. They didn't realize that was gonna happen, and it's happening to more and more people. And what happens is these demonic energies come in and literally take over. If you've ever had a really intense addiction, that's a demonic energy. And it makes you do things that you don't think you have control, like you're like almost like a robot in a weird way, except that you don't realize that you're being a robot. It's the weirdest thing when you start really seeing these demonic energies. And so what Jesus was showing me this past week or two is the importance of putting the protective armor of God's light around you. There is nothing that can protect you more than God's light around you, the light of creation. Not another angel, not Archangel Michael. No, the light of God is the most powerful light that you can have around you. And if you do that every morning before you walk out every morning before you do anything, turn on your phone, put on I have it on my wall. God, protect me today with your armor of light. God, protect me today with your armor of light. God, protect me today with your armor of light. I say it in the morning. I say it when I'm about to leave. I try to remember to say it when I go into places. And I want to remind you of something. These people, we all have had demonic energies in us. Some of us may still have them. We're not bad people. The people that are lying and deceiving, the people that are lost in all of this stuff right now, they're not bad people at all. There's nothing wrong with a person that has demonic energies in them. Nothing. The demonic energies are what we need to say, let me see about this. This is we are being human right now, and we are being human in a spiritual battle that is very real, and we can pretend that it's all just one, that all actually demonic energies is just the dark shadow of our own, human perception that needs to be integrated into the light. Or we could actually look at the fact that, well, actually, demonic energies are probably playing out in you right now that you don't realize, and that this is a real game we're playing. It's a real game while I'm in the game. Like, Monopoly's real when I'm playing it, but the second I stop playing it, Monopoly's not real anymore. And we need to start really looking at this energetic spiritual battle that we are in, and stop pretending on all these different layers like, "Oh, it's all just light," or "It's all just God." Of course it's all just God. That doesn't mean that you're not playing in a spiritual battle that God created. And saying that it's all just God is not gonna help you. Trust me. We've gotta play the game. We gotta start showing up and playing the game. We gotta start getting really freaking awake to what's happening here. We gotta start fighting back in a way energetically. We gotta start armoring up. We have to start playing the game. We really do. Because a lot of what is infiltrating, a lot of the things that you think are wrong with you, a lot of the things that you think you need to fix and change are not even you. It's not even you. It's infiltration. Period. And you've been thinking this whole time, maybe even your whole lifetime, that there's something wrong with you. If we can be convinced to continue to try to fix and change and heal ourselves, we will never do this. Right? You got shame from something that happened with your family, with your children, with loved ones. You're going to keep thinking about that and thinking about that and thinking about that. And the second you begin to connect to God, it's like, oh no, you better think about that shame again. What are you doing? Who do you think you are? You are a shameful person. You better be judging yourself. You don't get to go and do that. That's demonic. That's infiltration. That's not you. We've been trying to fix and heal and change what was never ours to fix and heal and change. We can do it because we've been really brilliant at fixing and changing and healing ourselves. But when we continue to not understand this, that a majority of what we are fixing, changing, and healing is demonic energies in us convincing us that we need to do this so that we stay in the loop, and we don't connect to God, the moment we start to realize that, the game's over because then you say to yourself, "Hold on. I've got these addictions. They're not me. I've got these limited beliefs and thoughts. They're not me. So what is me? Let me go drink the living waters of God for a second and figure that out. Oh, I got it. Holy cow." And you got to do this day in and day out. You got to connect only to God. The second you feel shame, guilt, doubt, fear, anxiety, stress, worry in your life, judgment to yourself or others, where's God? You got to feel God moving through you in that moment. The more you do this, the more you will feel your natural innate beingness. It's the moment you will start to snap out of the deep amnesia that we are drugged into every day. Literally, like an IV is put on our, we're drugged, we're given a drug. The second you start to recognize what's happening on the planet, you'll be pulled back in as quickly as possible through the mind. Through the mind. The mind is also the greatest tool for you to be able to have that faith in God. You've got to convince yourself through the mind with faith that this path is going to let you fly. It's going to create freedom and miracles and like aha moments and just like, holy cow, is this truly how designed to live? Yeah. And you'll recognize how difficult it was to keep coming back to just this organic path right here. And you'll start seeing, oh my God, everything that people are dealing with is not who the person is. That's why when Jesus came in, he's like, I'm here to save you guys. I'm here to help you get out of this sin. Right? These behaviors that pull you from God. That's all that sin is. It's just behaviors that we play in that pull us from this timeline, which is everything. Look around at the whole planet. The whole planet is like this. We can tell ourselves, "Oh no, this is," we can justify all of it. But the more you start drinking the living waters of God's light into your body, the more you will start to separate from these kind of energetic cords that have been plugging you into everything out there. You'll start to see, oh my God, you'll start to see the demonic energies playing out in people. And you'll see it's not them, but you'll see it playing out. You'll see it online. You'll see it everywhere. You'll start to have more and more compassion, and you'll start to protect yourself with the armor of light, because it has nothing to do with this person's a good person or a bad person. It has nothing to do with this person teaches this and this person teaches this. It has nothing to do with this person looks this way and this person looks that way. Like, it has nothing to do with you being able to figure out who's infiltrated. It's everywhere, right? And so it's not about looking out at the world and being like, "Oh my God, the world is infiltrated with demons." That's not what this is about, because there's gonna be millions of people you connect with and aren't, right? Probably a lot of people in your neighborhood, right? Most likely, you walk around in your neighborhood and you're gonna find the most amazing, incredible humans. Like, oh my God, you're gonna feel the difference. You wanna start feeling, really feeling the energy. Not just what you're used to feeling, like, "Oh, I'm an empath and I can feel energies." Like, throw that label out and just start going deeper into, like, the real experience. Like fine tune your energetic scientist. Fine tune that energetic scientist. Play in those energies even more. Like, dissect it when you're talking to somebody. What's really going on here when you're listening to someone? Stop maybe listening actually to the words and start really listening to the energy, because the words will just pull you into la la land. Who knows what they're saying? What's the energy? And that's what you want to pay attention to. Also, I've been saying this forever, but I'll say it again. Start putting the protective armor of light, God's protective armor of light around you, and start feeling what you. So there have been experiences as of late, a handful of them for me, where I'll feel very clean, very clear, very aligned, very connected to the light of God, and I'll go and do something. Maybe it's a massage, maybe it's something else. I'll go do something and I'll come back, and like a couple of hours later, all of a sudden I'm feeling insecure, I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling out of alignment. And because we're used to just like blaming ourselves, right? We're used to just like dealing with it. We don't question it. But I've been questioning, wait a second. I know this isn't my natural state. And I know this isn't about practicing flow, like, oh, just let everything flow. I know something came in. Something feels like it came in and infiltrated. Something rattled. It's like when like a windstorm comes in and kind of shuffles around all the trees. You're like, something just came in and rattled my system. That is an extremely important thing to start recognizing. And you want to figure out where it was. And you're not, again, this is not about blaming people. I think this is like really important. You don't blame somebody, but you want to pinpoint, like, where was I where I was feeling aligned, and now and then I went and did this, and then I came home and now I'm not. And you want to possibly stop doing that thing that created that wobble. If you're able to, or if you can't stop doing that thing, put on the armor of God when you go back into that thing that created the wobble. Does that make sense? Very, very, very. If there's one thing you leave with today, it's that. Pay attention to where your wobble may be. So pay attention to what you feel all day long. Pay attention to, and really, if you're not aligned with the light of God, breathe God's light in, like pull this in, pull it in, breathe it through you. The only way you'll start to actually understand the essence of God is to feel it moving through you. Right? So, and when you start to feel it moving through you in a very subtle way, you'll start to feel your natural state. You'll start to feel you'll know that this is how you're supposed to be on the planet. It just starts to make sense. It's very subtle. It's very slow. It's very subtle. It's like inch by inch. But when you do that, then you can see when you go into something and it pulls you from that natural state. Otherwise, if you don't have a home base of a natural state, you're not even gonna necessarily know that you're being rattled by other things. Like, you may feel weird, but you might not even recognize, right, that there's been some sort of weird infiltration. You'll just come home, be agitated, be irritated, be angry, start feeling really bad about yourself, and just kinda think it's just what happens, or you're blaming on the fact that you came home and your children were obnoxious, or your husband or wife weren't listening to you, and so you'll start blaming it on other things. And really, it was just that you went into a space that had some demonic energies that moved in and sort of rattled you a little bit, and now you gotta clean it out. So then all you do is, if you feel that kind of experience, you just say, I'm bringing in the light of God. I'm clearing out anything. In God's light, I'm clearing out any energies that are not for my highest good. Clearing out any energies that are not for my highest good. In fact, what Jesus has asked me to start saying is, in your holy name, clear out the demons. I literally have that on my wall. I know this sounds so weird, but um, in your holy name, clear out the demons. I am not taking this spiritual battle lightly. I'm not. I don't take it lightly. I don't take it lightly. Um, and the reason I say that is there's not enough ayahuasca, shaman, meditation, raise my vibration, kundalini activating, medicines, supplements, positive thinking, mantra thinking, anything that is going to stop the demonic energies other than breathing in the light of God. And when they talk about this is a battle between light and dark, this is what they mean. The light is God's light. God's light. That's the armor that you want on you, and that is who you are. So the more you become who you are by breathing in God's light, the less the demons will come in. Thank you so much, the light of Mimo. Thank you for that. Don't fear, I am in you. I see and I hear you. Don't fear. When you have this light of God, when you know who you are, when you feel that light in you, game on. Nothing can get you, right? Like nothing. We got to be like so like pristinely. Oh, it's like, what's going on with my hair? Um, does Jesus ever teach you to look at your own darkness within and clear it so no demons can match that vibration and infiltrate? Um, Jesus teaches me every day to look at what it is that pulls me from my divine nature, 100%. However, demonic energies, from what I have been shown, do not match what inner darkness or inner shadow you may have. Demonic energies will just attach. They don't necessarily attach to what you still need to work on, right? Um, that's kind of a little bit of a I would just be cautious of that because then what's gonna happen is that there's always gonna be this idea that you need to do more work, and so it's a loop, whereas if you start to actually bring in the light of God, it's a game changer because you realize that, yes, there's always human programming that needs to be cleared out. So when I work with Jesus and when I'm doing this stuff with Jesus, it's programming that he's clearing out of me or that I'm clearing out. It's programming that I'm rewiring from me, right? And that programming can be insecurity, unworthiness, lack, doubt, fears. That's programming. And it's a rewiring of that programming. And the more that and it's in the mind. And so the more that we rewire that programming that we call trauma, that we call the inner world, that we call the shadow, it's programming. It's been given to you. It's been programmed into you, whether it's from a trauma or anything else. It's what the human has believed to be something that it now needs to figure out and heal and fix. And on some level, that's true. But on a deeper initiation kind of level, it's a program that needs to be dismantled. And there are many ways to kind of dismantle that programming. Fasting, which brings you deep into the program. That's why fasting is so great, is it will catapult you straight into the program, whether it's lack, insecurity, unworthiness, jealousy, lust, greed, pride, gluttony. What is it that's really holding you back from integrating this light? and those are programs, and so you start peeling back or breaking apart those programs and then jumping back out into the world and seeing how you do. The demonic energies are gonna attack you regardless. So you could have, you could be like streaming the highest light possible. You still may be attacked by these demonic energies, right? So it's the more that you are embodied or integrated with that light, the less well, hopefully the less you'll be attacked, right? You'll be able to um, withstand it all. It won't. So this is beyond like what I'm speaking of, this energetic battle that I'm speaking of is outside of the idea that everything is a reflection of you. It's outside of that. It's outside of the once you heal everything in you, then you will no longer experience the the outside will not reflect the inside. The spiritual battle is a little bit different. It's in my opinion and in my experience, it's different. It plays a different game than that game. Um, and I think people will start to see this and understand this the more they begin to integrate that light back into their bodies. The moment they can actually feel like a almost like a streaming drip of water of God's light moving into the body, instead of like the fountain erupting from within, which it does do, but if there's no feeling of like something coming in, something giving you that life force, then we'll still be in the illusions. We'll still be playing in the stories or the programs that they want us to stay in. True freedom really, in my opinion, begins when there is a popping out of the inner, this whole thing, and a breathing for the first time this light in. Like you're finally getting a breath for the first time in your life and you start to breathe this light, and it's a whole different game because you realize you've never breathed that is a new breath. You've never had that before. You always thought you did, right? But it's a real visceral tangible experience that comes in. Doing nothing is no longer an option. A positive, healthy, loving perspective is the only thing that's coming for humanity. This is a hero's journey, 100%. Why is it necessary to disrespect all the other roads walking us home? Oh, I'm not trying to disrespect it. I'm just bringing awareness to the easiest path, I guess, the path that's just right there. It's like, I guess I'm just trying to bring awareness to what we've been doing and what may actually catapult us into where we're trying to go. You know, I think there needs to be an awareness of what we've been doing and why are we still in this? Like, what happens if we do something different? Right? So it's not that I'm trying to disrespect, although I can see that that would be maybe how it's perceived. It's not a disrespect, it's an awareness of what we're in and what we're doing. And what if all of that is still part of the game? Like, what if it's just literally popping our heads out and breathing in that light? Like, what if it's that simple? That I think that's what I'm trying to get to is what if that's simply it? And I can see that it's can be very disruptive or upsetting because we've been doing all these other things and it feels like it's working. But what if it's just keeping us doing this? What if we just breathe God's light in? What happens if that's the key, you know? So I'm definitely not trying to be disrespectful, although I completely understand that I do sound that way many times, and I have to walk that fine line of respecting everybody's path and everyone's choice. Um, but what I have noticed in my own life, because I've been in a lot of different paths of awakening, a lot of different ways of doing it, and what I have found is when I in the last 6 months is this popping out of all of it and just going straight to creator and pulling that in. It just makes it's changed my entire life, completely changed my entire life, and nothing has ever felt more natural, more real, more home. There's no bells and whistles. There's no, extra stuff. There's no story to it really. It's just it's nature. And when we start doing it, it's like, "Oh, this is" it's like when the heart beats or your lungs take in air, expand and contract. It's like that. That's how I feel when I'm trying to talk about this is like, it's how we're naturally designed, how the body's naturally designed to work. And the other stuff is great because it's extra stuff that we get to do, but if we're not in my opinion, if we're not breathing that light in as a tangible, real light experience inside the body, unfortunately, I believe that we'll just be doing this within the game. And, I definitely do not mean to seem disrespectful to people, but I completely understand how it can sound that way, you know? What you are experiencing is you're experiencing, and everyone's path is just as valid. It sounds arrogant. Okay. That makes sense too. We create the idea of demons by our rejection or lack of love. And how do you think people react to all these experiences of separation? God understands perfectly. God does understand perfectly. It is well with your soul. It is well with your soul. Truth triggers the entire world. It does. It does. Yeah. We can get very triggered. And, it's when we can hold compassion for where we all are, um, when we can hold compassion for our triggers and our anger, um, you know, for everyone's triggers and everyone's anger, it's a lot. It's a lot right now. I think it's important, and I think it shows humility. There's a lot of things that trigger me. A lot of things that trigger me. Um, it's frustrating, when yeah, it's really challenging. But yeah. It's the ride we're on. It's the ride we're on. Love is the flower, you gotta let it grow. In Kabbalah, it's the year of Elohim. What does that mean? Um, what does that mean within the year of the Elohim? Hardest thing you'll ever see is the truth. Oof, that's good. That's true. Patrick, I'm waiting. What's the year of Elohim? Um, how can you discern demonic energy or entities? Is it really enough to just feel for it? You got to feel the way you can discern is you will feel different if you've encountered like you'll notice within 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes, maybe an hour, 2 hours. Oh god. Oh, no way. Okay, cool. It's the year of God. Whoa. Yes, it is. That's so cool. Um, that's really cool. Year of the God. It doesn't matter if it's part of the game if you're not playing in it. Ignore it. Yeah, you don't have to play in it. That's but we're in the game. We get to play the game. You just don't have to you don't have to participate in parts of it, right? Well, we're definitely in the game. We're definitely in the game. This is the year of God. Well, go plug in. Go plug in. Go plug in. It is the year of God. I've been saying that for a while. It's what we're going to be doing this year. Go to God. What is that? Isn't it designed to be simple? Isn't that nature designed to be simple? You know? Um, yeah. Anything else before I go? I think a demon just stopped you from answering my question. I don't think I saw your question. Oh, I answered it. You gotta know you gotta discern the difference. So a lot of times if you do encounter like demonic energies with people, you'll notice it later. You'll feel it in you later. Not always. You're not always gonna feel it. It's not always gonna impact you or affect you. Um, but you'll feel it later on. You may feel kind of like um you may just feel off. Your mind may do weird like, you may feel in your mind it may be infiltrated. Kind of like you'll start thinking like you may have a lot of anger out of nowhere. That's a big sign, like a lot of weird anger, irritation. The reason I don't like speaking too much about this is because it's hard to describe it and explain it, and then what happens is that we start thinking that demonic energy is everywhere and it's gonna I'm experiencing it everywhere, and um, then we take it and run with it. So it's kind of challenging because you want to know about it and you want to practice it and be aware of it. But at the same time, you don't want to grab it and be like, oh my God, is this demonic? Is this demonic? And is this person just, you don't want to do that either. So it's this like really challenging fine line of trying to talk about this, but not make it a big deal. You know? Anything else? I'm gonna keep it 100%. All right, you guys. I'll see you next week. We'll be doing a brand new show called The Lorie Ladd Show, and we will just be talking about everything and anything. Um, and it's going to be good. It's going to be good. Stay tuned. Our first show will be Wednesday at 2 p.m. California time. There'll be a new thumbnail and all of that. These shows will be live starting next week. So, and we'll be doing more shows than just one a week. So that we can navigate what's coming with ease and love and compassion and grace for everyone. Lots is changing. It's going to be different. We're going to have to allow it to be different. We're going to have to open and expand, um, how we've been doing it for thousands of years, hundreds of years, how we've been doing it in this lifetime. And, we're going to have to start asking a lot of questions, more questions than we've ever asked. And if you look around at the world, if you look around at how nature lives, it's simple. The awakening is simple. Evolution is simple. Light is simple. And the more we complicate it, the more it becomes a loop in the game. Love you guys. I will see you next week.